Please don't forget to like coming into the room. Appreciate you. Hey, Martha. How are you, dear? You know, this isn't going to be very long. It's not. It's not going to be very long at all. It's funny, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to leave it a conversation. You know, a private conversation. But now it's like, if you mean. Hola. Hey, Martha. Hey, TT. Hey, Alina. Quiet ones in the building. Hey, Princess CS. Welcome. Welcome. I think it's the first time we've had you here. Welcome. ACG is in the building. You know, there's a lot of ridiculous things happening online. There's a lot of ridiculous things being talked about. But I don't know. Hey, Nikisha. And just so you guys know, it's not a mistake. I kind of wanted to leave this open because I want to see what trolls are going to show up for this conversation. I do. Hey, Kenzen. So apparently, Diddy is getting pardoned. That's what they're saying. And it's just interesting because, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a thumbnail, and salute to Miss Lowdown. And it's funny because I swear to God, she be in my head. I swear to God, she be in my head. Because I said when I saw it earlier, like there's this weird old guy. He used to be a rapper, and now he's just, I don't know what to call Willena. Willena D. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm just trying to figure it out because on Friday, Willena D said that Diddy was going to be home by Sunday in time to watch football. And now today, it's Diddy's going to be home by the end of the week. And then somebody came through Walena's chat and said to Walena, Diddy's not getting pardoned, and, you know, laughed at him or whatever the case may be. And Walena said, I want you to come back and say that to me in a couple of days once Diddy is free. The thing is, who are you getting your information from, Willena? Like, I want to know. Because you said on Friday that the diddler was going to be home for football on Sunday. And now we're going into Tuesday. And now you're saying it's by the end of the week. So it's like, it's kind of like you're baiting the hook with with bad chum, because I don't get it. And then, you know, some people are saying he may be getting a pardon, but this is the thing. The legal team made an announcement today, I believe it was today, that they were filing an appeal. So after all of the money that was spent representing this strange thing of a person, yeah, apparently, you know, TM Lies, they said something about it as well. But I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Why would you need to file for appeal? Why would you announce that you're filing for appeal and you're aggressively going after an appeal if you got a pardon? I don't understand. And Miss Lowdown, salute to her, she asked the very same questions. Why would you need a presidential pardon if the pardon was a lock, if it was a guarantee? Um, like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. For your lawyers to come forth and say that they are getting a pardon and then come forward and say they're filing for appeal, it doesn't sound like they got a whole lot of faith in that pardon. But see, you got guys like Walina and guys like, Harvey Leviathan and, all of these people. And salute to her, because the truth is I wasn't even going to say anything. But once I saw her thumbnail, I'm like, you know what? I might as well have something to say about it. I might as well. You want to know what really trips me out? And I'm going to tell you what really trips me out. And yes, I have my bonnet on because I'm in bed. What really trips me out is how people don't see they giving it all away. Like, they really are. They're giving it all away. And when I say they're giving it all away, there's only two reasons you would run with a thumbnail like that before the man even makes it home. One, because you're doing it for clicks and views, for the money. Two, because you're being paid to put this propaganda out there, which means you're also doing it for the money. And then we have three, which is a combination of both. You're doing it because you're being paid to do it, and you're also doing it for the clicks and views. You're going with C, all of the above? Yeah. Like, that's the thing that I don't understand. How do y'all think that we don't see you for the paid propagandist that you are? Especially Walina D. Because Walina D, I understand her less and less. Number one, how does she have 1 million subscribers? Who's paid? Like, I don't even know how people watch Walina D. Walina D can barely make it through a conversation. Walina D doesn't make any sense. Walina D is probably one of the biggest Schluminati eggplant riders I've seen in quite some time. And it's kind of sad because to be a guy that old and you're literally sniffing the jock strap of every hip hop criminal that ever existed. Like, first things first, to sit up there and say that the conviction was unfair, no one's ever served that much time for what's going on. It was a trumped up charge. It was a this, it was a that. He should have never been convicted. I mean, he's sitting here capping hard. Like, he put on his cape and he said Geronimo when he jumped out the top floor of the crack house. Like, I'm I got big money. I drive big cars. Everybody know me. It's like I'm a movie star. You know, the sad part about it is I remember when that song came out. And even though I had much greater respect and appreciation for Scarface's verse and Bushwick Bill's verse, I uh I always had, you know, I showed respect. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be honest. When it comes to the Ghetto Boys, Willena D was the prize of the group. Y'all remember the Fugees? You had Wyclef, you had Lauryn Hill, and then you had Prize. Like, Willena D is the prize of the Ghetto Boys. Let's just be very clear about it. And, you know, one of the coolest members of the group passed away a few years back. I'll never forget the last time he performed in Dallas. I went to go see him. And oh my God, he was drunk off his ass. I still didn't understand how a person that little could drink that much alcohol. It was kind of like, you know, it was like one of the marvels of I don't even know. I don't know how. I didn't understand how he was able to just keep on drinking like that. As little as he was, I didn't get it, but he could do it, and he would, you know, his verses were a little slurred, but he was on it. Um, I just chalked it all up to him having a good time. I found it very surprising when I found out that he had passed away not long after that. But salute to Bushwick Bell. Well, I mean, quiet one. You want to know the difference between George Santos and the Diddler? He didn't wish death on Trump. He didn't say that Trump needed to be excommunicated and needed to be removed off the face of the planet. He also, you know, didn't used to smile in Trump's face. And then the second that he ran for politics, started, you know, talking cash money crap about him behind his back and then going on a press tour and, you know, like doing interviews. Like, if there's one thing that I can say right now, Trump ain't forgetting nobody that's had like super, super, super harsh words to say about him. So, yeah, that I do know. That I do know. I'm, yeah, they're very much so apples and oranges. And I, yeah, yeah, see, this is the thing. MAGA, MAGA hates Diddy. MAGA hates Diddy like they hate Epstein. And with everything that didn't happen with the Epstein files this year, with everything that didn't get uncovered, like, it would no Epstein list and Diddy and Diddy walks free, like MAGA might go to there might be another insurrection. Like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, I don't think y'all understand. MAGA will go nuts. You hear me? If y'all think the insurrection was bad on January 6th, 2021, my God. I mean, Trump is very big on rewarding loyalty. And I'm just saying, if y'all think, yeah, they'll go nuts. MAGA will go ape. You hear me? Full ape. MAGA will go like Godzilla crazy. You hear me? Ghislaine sitting in Club Fed and the diddler on the loose. Oh my, yeah. I'm just. Oh no 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 no. There's no convincing MAGA about the diddler. I'm telling you that right now. How about giving Derek Cordillo Smith a part? You know what? See, you're saying something that's that right there kind of warms my heart. You know, this is what's wild to me. People already wrote what? What happened? What am I missing here? I'm missing a lot in this chat. Okay, I'm missing a lot. I mean, we hear a lot of things. I heard somebody say that Diddy was going to be pardoned in home yesterday and he's still in jail. So, this is how I feel about it. And let's just be very honest. If a pardon was a lock, why would his legal team be announcing that they were going for an official appeal? I'm just trying to understand. There's no need for an appeal if you got a pardon on lock. But you know, they said that there was going to be a pardon before the sentencing. Like, this is the thing that I don't understand. People do a lot of talking and people say a lot of things and people just keep falling for it and keep falling for it. But do you know what I do know? All of these people practice like witchcraft. So, or at least that's what I believe in my opinion. And the one thing that I do know is that a lot of the energy, see, these weirdo demonic regimes, they rely on low vibrations. They rely on negative energy. See, all of the people who are putting energy, it's energy harvesting. All of the people that are putting energy into this. Because, see, like people see stuff like Diddy's getting pardoned, and the first thing that it does is it upsets people. YouTube keeps deleting your messages. That's crazy. I'm sorry about that, Michael. They do all kinds of things. That's the first thing it does. It gets people upset. And then what do? They stay online, see? And then they want to type. And then they get angry and they get in their feelings and all of that. See? They know that. Like all of these content creators, they don't know whether or not Diddy's getting a pardon, but they gonna say it. They gonna push that line. They're gonna toe it. You wanna know why? Because they know thousands of people are gonna show up, and those thousands of people show up, and then it gets more ads, and then it gets more views, and then people sit there and go back and forth in the comment, and they argue in the comment, and then they do this and they do that, and it's all this engagement. See, honey, you 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 okay over there? Yeah. Okay. Because we're talking. They stopped super chats. Oh, wow. That's crazy. They playing all this money. They want to cut off super chats and food stamps. Yeah. You are, yeah, listen to me. Listen to me. Acceptable monsters. Acceptable monsters. I've talked about this on several occasions. Acceptable monsters. What I am finding very interesting though for me is that there is information that's not publicly available that we know about. And I don't know how many people here. It looks like 200 and some odd people is here. Can we do better with these likes? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And salute to everyone who was here for the live with Grace. For you guys, first time seeing Grace. You know, a lot of you are used to hearing Grace, but not seeing Grace. Oh, thank you so much, ACG. Thank you. Appreciate you. Well, they're letting you super chat, so we appreciate that. See, for those of you who were here, for whatever reason, Grace sitting on panel and us having that lovely conversation, and thank you for all of the wonderful comments and appreciate you. I know I'm bad. I don't always get to the comments right away and stuff like that. Yeah, you miss Grace, but you can go back and you can look because she showed up. She cammed up and everything. And I wasn't sure about it, but she wanted to. Um, yeah, but apparently it just riled the deviants and the devils down there in the basement. I mean, Grace just stopping in, like it was just, it was enough to, yeah, like, you know, see, it's that AdSense check. It's that AdSense check that really be hurting people. Thank you so much, Michael. Yes, we could use more likes. The acceptable monsters of the industry, because we need them. See, that's the thing. They find the one person that they can blame all of the hell on, all of the crap on, all of the terrible on, and then everybody else gets to go and act like they're not that bad and like it wasn't that bad and it was just them and it was just this. Like, it's well, listen to me. We need to talk about that because I have a retraction that I need to make. Or I shouldn't say a retraction because I don't think I was really wrong. Um, so regarding, okay, we had found this. I went back and did a little more research. And guess what I found? Now, whether Google did it, or whether the HOA did it, or whether the city did it, guess what I found? They changed the name of the street. Oh! They changed the name of the street. Doheny Lane is now Vario Drive. Tell me something. Why? Why would they change the name of the street? I'm going to try to get to the bottom of that. Was it Google that changed the name of the street? Or did the HOA actually? I'm going to go a little deeper on that and see whether or not we can get a picture, because if the HOA or the city changed the street, then they would have to put up a new street sign. But if there's no street sign, then that means that they changed the name of the street in Google. And so we're going to be doing a little more. But this is the thing. If they weren't trying to keep the public away from that house and what happened around that house, if they weren't trying to keep independent investigators away from going to be able to verify the stuff that they're saying online, if they weren't busy trying to find a way to corral and choke off the information to where it only comes down to the few sources that is putting out information regarding the property, regarding where the car was found, regarding all things, regarding the case of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The simple fact that they're now just calling her Celeste Rivas and no longer calling her Celeste Rivas Hernandez, like little things like that. Yeah, 1368 is blurred on the maps now. Like, they are literally doing everything that they possibly can do to make sure that people do not have the ability to be able to go check these things out for themselves. Why? Why? Yeah. So I'm not going to say that we were wrong. What I am going to say is that we dug a little deeper and we got a little more clarity. Now, let me show you guys something, because this is how, like, deep they are into doing this. And you got to think about how quickly this happened, okay? Now, this property is listed on several different housing sites. So here we have it here. Now, this is on Zillow. Now, I want you guys to look. 1368 Doheny. This on Zillow. It has an estimation of how much the house is worth, how many bedrooms, how many baths, how much square feet. Los Angeles, 969, California, right? 1368 Doheny Place. You guys see that? Okay, can you see that? Mm-hmm. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You go to another site. Oh. Now remember, David's manager was renting his house for what? $20K a month. As you see, this is about $10 short of $20K a month. 1368 Vario Drive, Los Angeles, California. Same thing. But look at what it says here at the bottom. Historic downtown LA. The Hills is not downtown LA. Sunset Boulevard in that area is not downtown LA. So I want you to look apartments.com. You see that? So if I go to one site, Zillow, and clearly the Zillow, it's been up here for quite some time. Now notice it says here at the top, off market. Okay? So when the picture of this, and see, this is the picture that we're familiar of because this is the street view. This is the street view. But if you look up here at the top above the garage where you see the green awning, see, that's the green awning. And notice what it says, where it says availability. It says available now. So let's be clear, that happened very quickly. This is what it's listed as on Google. And as you see at the top above, zestimation, very zesty. It says off market. So we know someone was living there. The place was rented. But then they come back, and now it's no longer the street view. It's the view from the backyard, from behind the gate and the fences. Throws you off just a little bit if you're not really paying attention. To go from here to go to here, unless you're really paying attention, unless you're looking for it. But this is on two different sites. Street view. This is the view from the backyard. And by the way, because of the way the property is set up, if you see where all that shrubbery is, if you guys remember when we did the walkthrough in the neighborhood to just get a lay of the land to see how things looked, Odell couldn't show you any of this. He couldn't see any of this because it was all hidden around the barricade from the shrubbery and all of that, which means you would have had to use a drone or have a surveillance camera above the fence to get this picture. So this way, if people are looking and they're thinking about this, they're not thinking that this is this. You got this, which is all you can see from the street. And then you have this, an obstructed view, a view that you would not be able to see without either climbing all the way to the top of that fence and sitting up there to be able to get a picture into the yard because you can't get this view from the street. And if anybody remembers when we did the neighborhood walkthrough, when we were trying to figure out and get the location of where Celeste's car was parked, when we did the on-site reporting, you would already know. When Odell walked down to where the end of the property was, it was gated all the way around. This picture was taken on purpose. It was also, the street name was changed. And then they added historic downtown LA to it, even though it still has the same zip code, because that zip code is not the same zip code as downtown LA. And it says for availability, available now. Now, one of the other details is 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. But if you go back and look at the original, it's listed 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 4,300 some odd square feet. Where is the square footage on here? What does it say? Does it even say square foot? No, not really. You don't really do it. See how they did that? Yeah, it sounds like they were very desperate to rent it out. So yeah. Well, if you want to go and see what the house looks like on the inside, the photos are posted online. I'm showing you the sites. You go see it yourself. Exactly. No square footage. And they added an extra bathroom. So this is what I'm saying, guys. There's a lot of misdirection and a lot of cover up here. Yeah. Just go look it up. They got photos on Zillow and on apartments.com. What I don't understand is why people are always coming through trying to question me about everything I say and everything I do. I'm sitting here showing people the stuff, but I want to thank the guy. Hey, like, what's the need? Why are you changing the name of the street? What are you guys trying to misdirect? But see, this goes to show you how sloppy and lazy they are. Because the truth is if they hadn't done this, but see, somebody came and they challenged me in my comments. And that's what made me go and check a little deeper and do a slightly deeper dive. Matter of fact, I think I have a conversation right here. Okay, how do you know this? We need some proof. Please, we can't just go off whatever people say. Whoop-de-whoop-de-woo, yada, yada, yada. Google, or do you have proof, any of the information to the public? Should be asking, how do you know? Okay, well, this was my response. My response is, what's funny is you clearly didn't watch the short because, see, I had done a short about this. And I decided to snatch it down once I started doing my further research, because what I don't want to do is make people crazy. But the truth is I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong at all. I just needed to look a little closer to see that they played a flim flam and how deep they were willing to go to try to conceal this property. So it says, what's funny is you clearly didn't watch the short. First, I did a whole breakdown in my last live. Second, burial drop. See, that's how you can tell I got dyslexia, because I swapped the I and the E. Straight dyslexic move 101. Okay, second, Burial Drive is downtown historic LA, and Doheny Place is in Hollywood Hills. See, I wasn't wrong because they had it marked Burial Drive, downtown historic LA. Hollywood Hills is not downtown historic LA. Both homes have the same house number and roughly rent for about the same price. But that still doesn't explain why an address in historic downtown is labeled on Google search as being located in Hollywood Hills. I think you should question Google and not me. Mm-hmm. 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 See? It's just kind of wild to me. It's kind of wild to me, like, what people be thinking, what people be doing. I don't know. I don't know why people question me. And it's funny because this was before I went back and I checked and I was able to spot and see that this and This is the same property. When you look at that little awning there over the garages, and then you look at the patio, and like, but how are you supposed to see that? Because you don't get a street view. Someone is trying to conceal something. Someone wants this concealed. And as we know, this little street name change happened very recently. Because what? It's only been a couple of weeks since they broke the lease. And David and his manager officially moved out. What's it been, like 2 weeks? Maybe? They didn't move out until after the investigation started. Okay, because they found the car in the lockup. They found the remains September 8th. Celeste was identified like a week after that as being Celeste, being found in David's car. So what you talking about? Oh, ACG. Jack, I got a blur vision of Doheny Drive on my. See? See, if you go and check it yourself, they're blurring it. Why? Why are they doing that? And that's why I went and I researched this very expensive rental property. That's why I went and researched it on all of the home sites. So let's look. All right, they discovered it was Celeste because don't forget, we heard about the room in David's car. Then the Charlie Kirk situation happened on the 10th, 2 days later, which kind of numbed everybody down. And then it was like 5 days after that, like somewhere around the 16th or the 17th, when we found out about, yeah, and that was around the same time that Diddy's legal team said that they were getting a Trump pardon too. It was right around that time because it was before the sentencing, October 3rd. They've been trying to get this pardon for quite some time now. They've been getting a pardon for a month, 2 months almost. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Wilhelmina, if Willie, if Willina got it going on and knows what she's talking about. So anyway, okay, so then they discovered it was Celeste, and then that's when people started looking into it being Celeste, and then people said that David wasn't in the house, and then that was around the same time that his mother's house got swatted in Texas, and apparently he had been changing over the property around that time as well, which we didn't find out until just recently, but it already happened like a month ago. And then his manager Josh Marshall didn't really make an official statement until about 2 weeks after that, which was around the 1st of October, around the same time of the Diddy sentencing. And then it wasn't until after that that they broke the lease. Yeah, so it's barely been like 2 weeks since they broke the lease. And once again, let's look at the evidence here. It says here at the top of the screen, above the zestimate, above the zestimation. Okay. Off market. That's on Zillow. Off market. Now understand this. I took these screenshots in the same day. I didn't take these screenshots on different days. I took these screenshots the same day, within minutes of each other. On Zillow, it's listed off market. Apartments.com, it says available now. And apparently it got an extra bathroom. So once again, and it's Vario Drive. You see that? Off market on one site. On another site, it's available now. The only way it could be available is if no one was living there and they're trying to get the house rented again. Okay? That's how desperate they are to rent this house. Which means the idea of a young girl. I Googled this September 24th, 2025, following a police raid on David's rental home. Movers remove items from the property, including a red Tesla belonging to his manager, Josh Marshall. Hold on, wait a minute. Belonging to his manager? The red Tesla belongs to his manager? Because the private investigator, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Fisher said that that lease was in David's name. But you know what? Mr. Fisher says a lot of things. I don't know if you guys saw the last short that I put up. Mr. Fisher says a lot of things. A lot of things. So wait a second. So I'm trying to understand something. So Josh Marshall rented that red Tesla? Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Because see, you know, people don't seem to be very clear about a lot of issues, about a lot of things when it comes to a lot of things, regarding a lot of things. Let's listen to what. Wait a minute, Jag. What did the energy feel like around the house? I'm sorry, I'm an empath, so I wonder what these kind of things. Oh, you wonder about these kind of things. It's not always a gift. No, sometimes being an empath is it can feel like a curse. The street view on Vario Drive has the house blurred out. The image was captured May 2024. And there's a black Tesla in the picture. Oh, really? Oh, really? Interesting. Well, honey, Odell, what did you feel in the neighborhood around the house? What was the energy that you felt? Did it feel?
Did it feel warm?
Did it feel desolate? Did it feel creepy? Or did it just feel void?
It was a neighborhood. It felt I guess like a typical neighborhood in that area, but
A typical neighborhood in that
not a
area
lot of people.
is desolate.
Yeah, not a lot. There's not a lot of like family. It's not like Gardena. It's not like even Westchester
It's
where
not like a
people.
neighborhood.
Right.
It's just a place where there's lots of houses and there's lots of people. But let's listen to what the private investigator had to say.
Spent towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood.
And that was September of 24, I believe. So
yeah,
we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died?
Yeah.
Towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood.
And that was September of 24, I believe. So
yeah,
we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025. Mm-hmm.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died?
Spent towards downtown LA.
I'm sorry, am I the only person that heard that? Am I the only person that heard that? Because Lord knows I clipped it. Yeah, the switch up. First, he said January 2nd, 2025. And then he was able to go back and recall the detail of the last time that she was seen back at home. Okay? Which was September 2024. And then he came back to say, and the last picture that we took of her was July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd, 2025. Now, the first time he said it, he said January 2nd. But I want to show you how the human mind works. See, if you're trying to sell a lie as real, if you're trying to tell a story and paint a story, you might be able to commit to telling that detail. But the second that you're forced to instinctively go back and recall something real, your mind is going to stick to the details that you actually studied, that you actually saw, that you actually watched. Okay, as an investigator. As an investigator, trust and believe. You can try to sell something, but the simple fact that he was able to repeat it twice and not correct himself was interesting. Because if he was interested in making sure that the public got the correct details for Celeste's whereabouts and how she was moving around and where she was and when she was, as a private investigator who was hired by the owner of this property here, I'm sorry. I do not think he would have made that kind of mistake and not corrected himself. What I also found funny was Jesse is sitting there listening to him while he's interviewing him and didn't ask him to clarify. Did anybody peep that? Like Jesse is sitting there interviewing. Like if I'm interviewing someone and I ask them for a detail and they give me 2 different dates, 2 different months, that far, like 7 months apart? I'm gonna say, hold on. Can you please clarify, because you just said January, and now you're saying July. Was it January or was it July? I would have asked that as an interviewer. The only way you don't do that is if, one, you're not paying attention, which would make him a shitty ass interviewer. Two, if you're comfortable with the confusion being put out there, or no. Oh yeah, that's it. One, if you're a shitty ass interviewer, or two, you're comfortable with the confusion being out there. Like, don't get me wrong. This ain't me coming for Jesse Weber's neck, but I gotta ask that question. How do you let somebody sit there, especially with a case as important as this, and you sitting here, but you want to know what else I saw on Law and Crime? That freaked me out. This is what I saw that freaked me out. Do y'all remember who Dr. Daniel Bober is? If anybody remembers who Dr. Daniel Bober is, put a 1 in the chat if you remember who he is. This is going to blow your mind. And it's going to add credence. Yes, the Hadleys, the Dr. Bober that did the Marchman Act on DeMaure Hadley. For those of you who have seen Defending Your Freedom, the DeMaure Hadley story, you'll know exactly who Dr. Daniel Bober is. Dr. Daniel Bober is the doctor that was sitting there in that footage that we have from those body cams, who forced DeMaure to go into detainment when she was not mentally ill, when she was suffering from no psychosis, saying that she was suicidal and had tried to pharmaceutical herself out, even though she was tested at the hospital and there was nothing found in her system. And he still Marchman acted her and forced her into his facility, Life Skills, where she had to fight to prove her sanity to be released almost 2 weeks later. Guess where I just saw Dr. Daniel Bober doing an interview as a psychiatry expert. Apparently, he works with Law and Crime, and Jesse Weber was interviewing him about the girl in Michigan, the McDonald's girl, the one that poked her manager up after she got sent home. The Afeni girl that looks like a clown in real life. Dr. Daniel Bober was the psychiatric specialist that Jesse Weber brought in to talk about the McDonald's massacre girl. And he was sitting there saying, well, you know, for someone to be criminally insane, they could be perfectly sane 1 minute and then criminally insane the next. It's this, the Chucky girl, the Chucky doll girl, yeah. That poked up her manager because her manager sent her home early. Yeah. The one that looked like she was one of the cast members from, the cast of characters. Yeah. The one that looks like Ronald McDonald's bastard child. Her. Yeah, Dr. Daniel Bober was sitting there on camera giving his commentary about criminally insane people. Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting? So Dr. Daniel Bobar likes to be on camera. Dr. Daniel Bobar likes to be considered an expert. So I wonder how much the more. Yes, someone is snoring. Yes. So imagine exactly how much DeMore's lawsuit could probably hurt his credibility at being called in as a psychiatric expert once she wins. Isn't that something? And it's also kind of like, I know we could do a little better with these likes. It's also kind of like, I don't know. Because Law and Crime got Daniel Bobar over there giving advice. And now we got.
And I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Ooh.
Okay, now that's significant because
That was
we were
big
wondering when,
tell.
you know, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood. And
that was September of 24, I believe.
Fair
So
use.
yeah,
This
we
is
didn't
on my
have
shorts.
anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died?
I spent towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, you know, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood. And
that was September of 24, I believe. So
yeah,
we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has any...
Jesse didn't ask for a clarification. Jesse didn't ask him to correct himself. Jesse didn't ask for anything. Jesse just sat there and let that man give 2 different dates about when the last pictures of Celeste were taken when she was alive. Yep, he said January 2nd, 2025 first. And then he said September 24th for the last time she was seen when she was by the home. And then he comes back and says July 2nd, 2025. But see, he said that twice. He didn't say that once. He said January once. I'm more inclined to believe the latter because he went in to put in a specific detail. When he said the last picture that we have of her alive was January 2nd, 2025. But see, the commentary that he was given before he said that was when he was busy trying to convince everybody that David hadn't been using that car since January of 2025 and that he got a new Tesla, a red Tesla, that he started leasing February 1st, 2025. That's what he said. And so I think that in his commentary here in this interview with Law and Crime, in my opinion, when he said January 2nd, and then he started talking about the car had been abandoned, it was dusty, it wasn't being cleaned, it wasn't being used, David wasn't using it at all because he had leased a new red Tesla February 1st. I think he wanted to give people the sense of believing that maybe Celeste had been in the car since then. See? Because now you have a bunch of content creators that are running around saying that Celeste hasn't, the last picture of her was January. The last time she was seen alive was January. The last time David was in the car was January. Like, that's what you have people seeing and saying. That's the story they're trying to sell. But, hi, Twin Fantastic. But the second time, when he repeated the detail, he said July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd. See, when you're investigating something, you mention those details to verify what you're saying. Early morning. He said July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd, 2025. That's what he said. He didn't put that kind of emphasis in. And it's funny because when he was doing this, like, if you go and you look at the footage, you can go and look at my short. But if you go and look at the footage, he's sitting there rocking back and forth like a whole crackhead, or like he was very, very, very uncomfortable with the things that he was saying in that moment. And that leads me to believe it was because he was selling us a bill of goods. So if you got an investigator on your show that's selling a bill of goods, and you got a guy named Dr. Daniel Bobar who puts legitimately sane people in mental institutions because people's mommies don't want them with a guy that they don't like, and then say that you did it with just cause because you believe the mom, even though the mom said that the child OD'd, but there's a tox report saying that there's no pharmaceuticals in said child's system. And by the way, this child is an almost 30-year-old woman. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, what's going on over there at Law and Crime? Like, what's going on over there at Law and Crime? You got doctors coming in doing expert testimony that put people who have never done a pharmaceutical in their life and barely even take cough syrup and over-the-counter medication for cold and flu. Like, you got a doctor over there, Jesse Weber. What's going on over there at Law and Crime? He was sitting there rocking back and forth like a crackhead. Look, let me show you. He looked very uncomfortable, like very uncomfortable.
Anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died.
Spent towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood.
And that was September of 24, I believe. So yeah, we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died?
Spent towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo.
Fair use. He said they're rocking back and forth like a whole crackhead. Trying to sell us a bill of goods. He said January 1st. And then he said July 2nd. Listen to the way he says it, because he puts in that detail, that very real detail, which means in his research, in my opinion, which means in his research, the correct date was July. because he added in the detail.
We have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
January 2nd.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood. And
that was September of 24, I believe. So,
yeah.
You hear that? He said when she ran away from home, he was able to come right in. See, his brain kicked in. His recall kicked in to real details, because that's what happens. When you're an investigator, when you're investigating something and you're recalling details, you recall what's real. So let's be clear. He said January 1st. And then Jesse said, yeah, because there's, the images of her running away from home. And he was like, yes, well, I recall. His recall kicked in. And it stayed clocked in.
We didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
See, that recall kicked in and then real dates started coming out. And Jesse Weber sat there and listened to him give 2 different dates. And as an interviewer, did not bother to ask for clarification. What you talking about? Right, when you're telling the truth about facts, the truth never changes unless you purposefully falsify the truth. You have to think about the lie in order. Exactly. Recall, it comes up instinctively. And the second that he engaged his recall, he was able to recall the footage from September 2024 and then repeated the actual. You see what I'm telling you? He tried to sell January 1st, but then his recall kicked in. And he went back to make sure it was verified. July 2nd, early morning. July 2nd. Want to know why? Because that's what he researched. Rocking back and forth like a whole crackhead. Waiting on a fix, or just very uncomfortable with the story he was selling. And no disrespect, but I've done a little research and I've asked around a little bit about this Stephen Fisher guy. And apparently he's linked to a couple other Hollywood strange cases. And it's been alleged that he's a disinformation specialist. I'm not going to bother to get into who said that Mr. Stephen Fisher is a disinformation specialist. But yes, it has been said that this is the guy they hire to fudge the details. Let's listen just one more time.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died?
I spent towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
January 2nd.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood. And
that was September of 24, I believe. So we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has anyone...
Early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025. July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025. Oh, yeah, well, that was back in September 2024. Yes, and the last photo that we have, of Celeste is in January 2nd, 2025. Oh, yes, because see, there was she ran away from home. Yeah, yes, I do recall. That was September of 24. But the last photo that we have of Celeste was July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd, 2025. See, he tried to sell the story he was paid, allegedly. He was paid to sell, to create misdirection, allegedly. But then when that recall kicked in, he told the truth about what he had actually investigated. July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd, 2025. It's funny because when he first asked him when the last picture of Celeste was taken, he didn't say early morning, January 2nd. He didn't slide that detail in. I think the owner of the house don't want that unalived child's remains or potential end of her life anywhere near his $20,000 a month property. Because the truth is, with this case being what it is, renting that house is going to be damn near impossible without people asking for a reduction. Look at that. Look at that. And these screenshots were taken in the same day. Off the market. Now notice the view of this house that everyone is used to seeing, which is the street view. With the 3-car garage here, this is what we've all seen. Like, we were there. We were there. Y'all know we were there. That's the front door. 1368. That's the front door. We were there. This screenshot came from the video that I have of us there, live on the scene. This is the view that we remember. This is the view that we remember from the cops being there, from TMZ being there. This is the view that we remember. Actually, not even from TMZ being there, because TMZ just used the police footage. They were able to get it. It's funny how hand in hand the police and TMZ work together. It's so interesting. And like I said, you wouldn't think to put these two images together, because this is the back of the house, which is concealed from the street view. See, right there, that green awning, if you look just above where the 3-car garage is, you got the 2 windows there to the left, and to the right, you have that green awning. That's what that looks like from the back. But once again, look at these high shrubs, all of that. It's concealed from the street. You can't see it from the street. Who's snoring? Y'all know who's snoring. Stop playing. You can't see that from the street. You can't see this from the street. This picture is off the market. This picture says available now. 1368 Vario, 1368 Doheny Place. Same house. And the truth is, if it wasn't for this Google search and somebody questioning me, I was questioning why. Because see, if you see in this image, It says that this property is in historic downtown LA, nowhere near the Beverly Hills. I mean, nowhere near the Hollywood Hills. Ain't that cute? The view we know, the view that was concealed. The view we know, the view that was concealed. On this image, what they have is the estimated value of the house. It says it's off the market, but these screenshots were taken in the same day. It's off the market on Zillow, but it's available now. It's available now. It's got 4 bathrooms over here. It's got 5 bathrooms over here. Over here, it's Doheny Place. Over here, it's Vario Drive in historic downtown LA. That's funny because that's not a downtown zip code. There's a whole lot of misdirection going on. Whole lot of misdirection goings on. Whole lot. See, this is the thing. They kept saying that there was another house, and they're saying that this is the house. But the problem with that is they were pulling up pictures saying, see, these are the same pictures in this bathroom that's in this bathroom. They're not. It's the same kind of mural art, but they're not. These pictures are different. These pictures are different. They actually tried to compare this. They actually tried to compare this. And that's all supposed to be from this house. So this is the house that they're trying to say that David had Celeste in. This is the house. And it's funny because the whole story is leading to making sure that nobody ever knows or nobody ever believes that she was anywhere near this house. The question is now they're trying to talk about the friend Neo, and him and the friend Neo had an issue. So I guess the friend Neo had the key card to the car that was abandoned, even though it had the Texas tags that had Celeste remains in it. You know, like they're doing a whole lot. They're doing a whole lot. Yeah, he said they had all kinds of pictures together. All kinds of pictures together. Lots of pictures, but nowhere near the house. All of the pictures were closer to downtown LA. Remember? Remember? He kept saying that. All of the pictures, most of the pictures that David had, some of them he believes David took himself. All of these pictures, he said, closer to downtown LA. Let's take a look. Where did they say? Okay, this is the house, the view that we know it as, 1368 Doheny. Here's the remix. Historic downtown LA. Well, what did the private investigator say? A lot of these pictures were taken in downtown LA. Listen to me, they're creating so much reasonable doubt. There is so much reasonable doubt that is attached now to this story. So much reasonable doubt. Like, they are literally trying to make it almost impossible for anybody to believe anything. You want to know what happened? They did that with the Diddy trial too. There was so much foolishness that happened online. People didn't know what to believe by the time it came time to pick a jury. They had no idea. Yes, we could use 300 more likes. I don't know how many likes we got now, but I'll tell you one thing. I've been sitting here cooking for the past hour, and I just don't understand. But I tell you one thing, this private investigator, he paid the right guy. Because, boy, the way he cooking these details up, he's trying to make sure this house can get rented. You hear me? He's trying to make sure that this house can get rented. Because don't nobody want to rent this one. Don't nobody want to rent this one. And he's sitting there talking about all the things that LAPD missed and left behind. Like, he's doing a good job. He's making sure that the cops look like their investigation is inept, that he was able to find and discover things that were, oh my goodness, so terrible. But guess what? Whatever you think and whatever you believe, Celeste was nowhere near this house. She's in this house. Or and most of the pictures was taken downtown LA. But she wasn't ever here. She was never here. She was here. She was here. Most likely. Like I said, a couple of people have talked to me. That small bathroom is in Doheny Drive homes built in 2023. Exactly. And this is Doheny Drive. As you see, West Hollywood, California. This is Doheny Drive. But this was Doheny Place. Because if you take Doheny Drive and you drive it all the way up, it goes to a more secluded neighborhood. See? Like Google Maps is telling you. That's why when I did my Google search and I asked Google, what was the difference? What was the difference between these locations? It couldn't give it to me because it was the exact same location. I said, what's the difference? What's the distance between 1368 Barrio Drive and 1368 Doheny? If you look at the very top of the screen in the Google search bar, I put 1368 Doheny Place to 804 North Doheny Drive. And it came up Barrio Drive. That's why it couldn't give me it. That's why I said it could not give me an AI answer based on that, because it was the same place. See? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be bursting people's bubbles like that. I really don't. I don't be trying to make people lose faith or lose hope. But my friends, honey, you okay?
I'm gonna take some stuff. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Continue. No, so go ahead. Continue.
I don't know what you doing there for. Ain't nobody looking. I'm looking. But seriously. Yeah, it's me. It's me. It's me. It's the real me. Yep. Bonnet it all. Sure enough. Sure enough. But once again, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out.
And just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died.
Spent towards downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood. And
that was September of 24, I believe. So we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more.
Jesse Weber, you do not want to sit down at a poker table with me because, sir, I have found your tells. I'll clean your clock and empty your bank. And that investigator, he don't ever need to play poker. Not with all of his sweating and rocking back and forth and all of that. He don't need to ever play poker. Jesse Weber, can you please tell us, the people, why didn't you ask that man to clarify which date was correct? What I find interesting, though, is all of the content creators that are running with the first date that he said and not even acknowledging the fact that he said another date and he repeated that one twice with a confirmed detail to confirm the memory recall that he had. Regarding the last picture he saw of Ales Rivas Hernandez alive. July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd, 2025. Okay. Gotta be careful. People be doing too much studying of the stuff that I be picking up and putting down. They be wanting to know too much about my life. What I do know is this. When I heard that the owner of the house was hiring an independent investigator outside of the police because he was so concerned about what happened to that poor girl and he wanted to make sure it didn't have anything to do with his property or if there was anything that they could do to help that poor girl and her family, I said, bullshit. That I do know. You hire a private investigator to get to the bottom of the details, to protect your best interests. I don't know how long David had been living there, but it sounds like he had been living there for at least 1.5 years, going on 2 years, which means for almost 2 years, Josh Marshall was paying him 20 G's a month. And it was guaranteed. And if it wasn't for this, Josh Marshall would still be paying him 20 G's a month. Two times 12 is what? It's 24. It's $240,000 a year. I mean, we can count it out the old-fashioned way. 1 month is 20. 4 months would be 80. 8 times 3 is what? 24. $250,000 a year? $250,000 a year. He's making it rent. $250,000. That's a nice little bit of money. It's a nice little bit of change. The house is worth, what, just under $5 million? I'd be doing whatever I needed to do to make sure I could go back to getting my $20K a month. January 2nd, 2025. Oh, yes. When she ran away from home, I believe that was September 24. But yes, the last picture that we have of Celeste alive was July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd, 25. Do we got trolls in the chat? Who can leave? Somebody in here acting a fool. Who acting a fool? Y'all tell me who it is so we can handle it. Someone called me a crackhead. Who is this Brazy Holmes? Let's see. Let's see, channel activity. He's got 7 subscribers, this Brazy Holmes. It's me, crack baby, me, crackhead Jag. I've never seen you before. I don't know who you are. I definitely don't know who you are calling me names, though. You know what I think we're going to do? I think we're going to help you not get lost here. We're going to mark you for hate speech, okay? Yep, we're going to mark you for hate speech. And then I think we're going to make sure that you just can't ever come back here. Bye. Because unlike that private investigator that was rocking back and forth like a crackhead, that's not me. Boy, Brazy boy. Sounds like I'm hurting somebody's feelings. Yeah, there's a lot of like immature people on this app that say and do a lot of immature things. Like I'm supposed to be offended by stuff like that? Not at all. Just like I'm not offended by content creators who sit around and obsess about the details of my life when they know nothing about it. And the only thing that they've done is talk to a bunch of liars, trying to get things to get me to respond to them so that they can go back and forth with me and have a little content. So sad. So sad. We're not talking about that unfortunate story tonight, Yamjay. Honestly, I'm trying to stay away from it because there's so many people that have so many different theories. And I've said all. Jag, did you check Wayback Machine for that Zillow list? No, I didn't. I went through my Zillow and then I went and I checked all of the other home rental sites. Yeah. Celeste was in the trunk. See, this is the thing. If the last picture of her alive was taken July 2nd, 2025, the one thing that the investigator did say was that that black Tesla was moved around the corner from 1368 Doheny Place or Vario Drive, whichever one we want to call it, on the same day that he got on a tour bus and left for tour. Yeah, same day. Which means can't say that he didn't have proximity to that car or her remains. But this is the thing that trips me out more than anything. There were people that she talked with online, that she DM'd and went back and forth with, that said that they believed they had spoken with her via Instagram DM somewhere between the 1st and the 2nd weeks of August. Which would have been after David left, which would have been after that car got moved there. And the investigator said, he didn't say it in the same interview, he said it in a different interview, that Celeste's remains was in that car when it got moved, which would mean somebody had her device and was intentionally communicating as her after she had allegedly passed away. That's what I'm saying. They didn't verify who they were messaging. Yes, but see, now someone just came through here through the chat and said that the red Tesla was leased by Josh Marshall, just like the house was leased by Josh Marshall. And the black Tesla was registered to David. Now, they said that David was driving the red Tesla because, see, the private investigator said that the red Tesla was leased to David, but now somebody's saying it was leased to Josh. Salute. I'm just trying to get it straight here. I'm trying to make sure I understand, and I'm trying to make sure everybody else understands. Interesting, because David went to the LA 2025 Anime Expo with his friends, July 5th, 2025. A few of my family took pics with him at the event, so he was just going on about his everyday fun-filled life. I mean, he went on tour. He ain't bothered to report that girl missing. What, they just broke up? And he lost all interest of her? I'm telling you. Severely decomposed and dismembered. And then the private investigator tried to cast doubt on that too. He's doing a lot. He's doing the most. He's doing a good job, though. I tell you one thing. He's sparing that property. He's sparing that property. But I guess that's what he was hired for. But once again, I was told, allegedly, he's the investigator that you want to hire when you're doing disinformations. Allegedly, that's his specialty. In Hollywood, weirdo cases. So let's see. One of the dates coming out of his mouth. Let's look at the timeline on this. Let's see how this adds up. The last time she was seen alive on picture with David, and this came out of his mouth, as I played for y'all numerous times. July 2nd, early morning, July 2nd, 2025. David left that house via tour bus the day that the house was moved around the corner from the house, July 29th, 2025. The car didn't get picked up until early September. So it had been there for just over a month. Remains were discovered in the car on the 8th of September, and we didn't find out that it was Celeste until mid-September. Badly decomposed and wrapped in plastic. In the frunk of David's Texas registered Tesla that he was no longer driving and hadn't been driving since February 1st of 2025. Last seen alive, July 2nd. Her friend said the last time they went back and forth with her DM was first 2 weeks of August, either very early August or closer to the middle of the month, after David had left to go on tour. Which means if Celeste had already been deceased, and she was, because the private investigator said that her remains was in the car when the car got moved on July 29th, that means somebody had her phone and was still messaging like they was her. So the question would be, who in God's name would be able to text pretending that they were like her, speaking like her, responding like her, other than someone who knew her very well? I wonder, did anybody bother to find her device, her phone, that she had her ghost DM on for Instagram? I'm curious. Because if they can find their phone, then they can ping the messages that went back and forth between her and her friends who thought that she was still alive in early August. Ooh! Am I cooking? Am I cooking? Am I cooking right now? It feels like the stove is on. Because, see, if there were messages that were going back and forth between her and her friends after she was already deceased, allegedly, in August, they should be able to locate where the device that Aless was allegedly talking to her friends on was pinging from. Am I wrong? I wonder if they would ping in any of the places where David was on tour. Because, see, if they were to track down that lead and that phone pinged messages back and forth between her friends when they thought she was still alive, when allegedly she was already dead, at any of David's tour dates, like the one in September where he threw the mock funeral, then that would mean that David knew that Celeste was not alive and was maintaining the front that she was, pretending to be her, while her body continued to rot in the frunk of his car. Ooh. Ooh. See, it's all these little details that people like to skip over. I would have made a great investigator, wouldn't I? Mm-hmm. Like if I had decided to work for the Popo. Man. I'm just trying to. They keep missing all these little details. All these little details. He asked you that? We're going to keep an eye on that. We're going to keep an eye on that. I got a feeling that there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, this live has taken so many different twists and turns. And we're going to get ready to shut down. Who works for the Popo? Certainly not me. Certainly not me. You got me wrong. I don't work for them cops. The cops can't stand me. I expect them to do their jobs. That's just asking a little bit too much from civil servants. What I will say is, oh, let me tell you something. That TMZ, I'm starting to think they a police substation. Honestly. Oh, thank you, Yamjay. No, I'm serious. I find it interesting. People changing the name of streets. People doing all kinds of weird stuff on rental home sites, people forgetting the dates of when someone was last seen alive in a picture. People are... Listen to me. I can't say that I disagree with you, Michael. I can't say. Yeah, the precinct. The internet precinct, TMZ. I, you know, did he get in the pardon? Did he not get in the pardon? Did he filing for appeal? Did he not filing for appeal? What I do know is that I'm looking at everything that we're doing, looking into Derek Lee Cordello Smith's case, looking into everything, and I'm starting to notice. No, I haven't seen that. The Perfect Neighbor on Netflix, I haven't seen it. Honestly, I haven't really watched much television. I don't really watch much anything. We make content and we focus on the stuff that we're producing. Maybe I'll take a break and take a look. Google says no, Kim Worthy is not retired. She was reelected as Wayne County prosecutor November 2024, and her current team extends until January 2029. I mean, yeah. Anything can happen. Things change all the time. What I do know is this. Ever since we started looking into this, there's been a lot of things that have been happening in the backdrop. And it's funny because I'm starting to see like there's something going on. Because every time something happens with the diddler out front, something seems to happen with Derek behind the scenes. It's getting real interesting. See, this is the thing, Michelle. I don't understand why people listen to liars. Dragging Grace? How you gonna drag Grace? You can't drag somebody with a bunch of lies or trumped up details. And the thing is, how do you drag somebody you don't know? That you know nothing about? Because see, any of the details, if there are any personal details that he could have gotten, then that would mean that he got them from someone who's running from a restraining order, which means that the person that's running from said restraining order for abusing and framing their wife is adding to harassment. Because see, he's not dragging anyone. What he's doing is harassing someone online that he doesn't know. See, y'all got to start calling things for what they are. Trust me. It's not dragging anything. What someone needs to do is go and drag him for pretending to be a grapist, and creating fake online personas pretending to be a grapist. Because make you no mistake about it, in my opinion, I do believe that Trevor Green weirdo who created a fake profile based off of someone who essayed me at Pow Pow Point back in 2009 is none other than Michael Braggs Jr., who goes by the name King Payne. Do you hear what I'm telling you? See, y'all need to go and drag him about why he's stalking me on Instagram, why he's stalking me on TikTok. Him and his very strange friend, Adrian Deontay Lewis, who made babies with a crackhead and then are allowing them to live with his gay husband, who he doesn't live with, who he was the same age as these children when he started sleeping with these men after he put hands and feet on his mother to run away from home so that he could get felt up on by two older white men. Like, y'all don't know who these people are. See, you need to go and drag them for the real details of their life. Because all of this stuff is public knowledge and you can go and look it up if you have their real names online. Listen to me. I don't know why you want to keep having a conversation with me, but if he's using police footage to harass Grace online of her being arrested when she was framed. See, this is the thing that I don't think you understand, Michelle. That arrest, Grace was put in jail for a crime that she did not commit. Her husband, who put hands on her, assaulted her, accosted her, and I know because I witnessed some of it, went to the police and lied to the police and said that she tried to unalive him with an axe. Said that she tried to take his head off with an axe and then showed up in court days later with not a scratch on him. All charges against her were dismissed. He literally tried to frame her. And this is not long after he got caught driving under the influence of alcohol, very heavily under the influence of alcohol, with their children in the car. I'm sorry, Michelle. Yeah, the case was dismissed because she was framed, which means whatever that weirdo that you're here trading messages for to try to create engagement for him, that means you're helping harass an innocent woman by spreading the lies that he's sitting there telling about her false arrest. Like, that's what you're doing. I don't know if you realize that. Because what I don't understand is why you're going over there to watch an online stalker and harasser and thief and then come over here trying to create engagement for his very dead channel. All of his dead channels. Why don't you go over there and ask him about the thousands of dollars that he made while I was in jail, pretending to be a supporter of mine and getting people to pay his quota and donate money to a GoFundMe? That it took them months to come up with $2,000 when people sent me receipts, multiple receipts of money that they sent to him to donate to me that he kept for himself. And more importantly, why is no one questioning him about why he's harassing a woman? Since when did we get to the point where it's culture for gay men to harass women who are a part of a protected group because she's been abused? Domestic DV? That's a protected group. Why are you entertaining him breaking the law? Like, I'm trying to figure that out. I don't understand, y'all. I don't understand how you can watch a snot booger who does nothing but lie and beg for money online, like a homeless person panhandling. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you could sit there and listen to somebody who swears to God they know everything about somebody else, and yet they cannot show their face and champion the fact that they're coward while they're playing narc and spy. And what? I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't get it. But do yourself a favor and stop coming over here sharing anything about what they do. Because honestly, what it makes you look like is a messy sub trying to get engagement for dead channels. The question is, why do you like wasting your time in cemeteries? We over here in the land of the living. Why do you keep going back and forth to the cemetery? We over here in the land of the living. We good and alive. And more importantly, your little weirdo questions are trying to divert and derail me from my very real content. See, they can sit over there and they can lie all day. But we over here busting facts and getting to the bottom of real things. So, welcome to the land of the living, Michelle. Do yourself a favor. Don't ever bother me about dead people again. I only talk about dead people who deserve justice. Not dead people who don't have the courage to just off themselves and go to the cemetery where they belong. See, there's nothing worse than watching a corpse that's still speaking. See? Anyway, I know. What happened to Michelle? She got so quiet. She has so much to say. My God. See, they all do that. They come over here and they put stuff. See, and this is why we're particularly, usually only members only, to keep all of that stuff. See, they do that to come over here to spark interest. They want to come over here and say, oh, such and such is over there dragging your friend, so that people will leave this channel and go over to that channel to see what they're talking about. Michelle good and quiet, ain't she? Now that she got busted. But you know what, though? Let me go back and let me look for Michelle's comments, because what we want to do is we want to keep her in we want to keep her in the right space. And we're going to make sure that Michelle stays hidden from this channel. We want to make sure that Michelle, you know, can stay over there with the dead people. She likes being in cemeteries. Go play in that dirt over there. You're not welcome to roll around in the grass over here. So yes, yeah. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if Walina D is right, and if Diddy gets a pardon. We're gonna see if his lawyers are just filing for an appeal. But you wanna know what I find funny? Everybody's so worried about Diddy getting out of jail, but don't nobody wanna get to the bottom of why Derek Lee Cordello Smith is still in jail? Because whatever crime they alleged or accused him of committing, he done served his time. And then some. Like, if anybody's got good time that should be a time served by now, it should be Derek Lee Cordello Smith. But the more stuff that I see happen with the diddler out front, the more I keep noticing that there are things happening behind the scenes with Derek Lee Cordello. It's funny. It's almost like a ripple effect. Something happens with Derek, then the next thing you know, something comes out about Diddy. Something happens with Diddy, then the next thing you know, something happens. Am I wrong? It's just like it keeps popping back and forth. Wonder why. But yeah, I wanted to just touch up on that. See, that's the thing. Maya, I don't know why people want him to get a pardon so bad. I don't know why he can't go to jail like every other person that gets convicted of a crime. I don't understand. I don't understand why Walina D is sitting there capping for somebody who likes urinating down little girls' throats until they vomit. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe he's got a child that Diddy will like. And then Diddy can urinate down his child's throat until they vomit. I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to understand how people heard all of that nasty stuff, which was not even the tip, the shaving of an iceberg, and actually think that he's not guilty or worse. But that's okay. We're about to get into a few things. Understand this. We're not trying to convince anybody of anything. What we're going to do is we're going to share the evidence that we have, that we've obtained. And it's so funny because I got people online talking about they're going to debunk all of Derek's evidence, but ain't got none. Ain't got none. Yet, Gene Deal literally sat there and corroborated the evidence that I do got a year ago. And ain't nobody going after them to debunk them? Like, how you going to debunk somebody and say, I'm going to get some real receipts. I'm going to get some receipts so I can show you that this guy in prison has been forging all of these documents with a typewriter and made all of these judges and all of these clerks lie. And all of the people that came forth and gave affidavits lie. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait. Ozzy Everybody knows it. Everybody knows who's guilty. And it's time for us to start figuring out who's been framed, who's innocent, who deserves justice. Like, it's time for us to figure that stuff out. I don't know how people can sit around and listen to somebody talk about, that's not true. Jag's lying. Jag's defending this person and he's a monster. He's a this, he's a that. He's a whoop doop doop. And I'm going to go and get the proof of it. Then how about you wait until you actually get some proof before you start talking about what somebody is? Does nobody peep that? That part, that pretty girl. Does nobody? Nobody? You going to sit there and you're going to accuse someone of being all of these things. There is evidence that comes out that suggests that maybe this person isn't guilty, and instead you going to double down and call this person all kinds of stuff. But you going to go and get the proof. You ain't got it, but you going to get it. Like, there's a real sick culture here on YouTube. Real sick culture. Where people are just so used to getting away with lying and saying whatever they want to say. And salute to Kenny Lattimore and his wife, Judge Faith Lattimore, in their discovery of some of the trolls and the troll farms that have been running down on them. I started noticing some of the actual trolls from the troll farm have been sending out bird calls, trying to get everybody to know that the jig might be up soon. Any trolls that's online talking cash money bullshit about me, please remember, you're not in Pakistan. Please remember, you're not in Russia. You should probably go and watch their video, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to follow those same tactics and same ploys, and they're going to be able to come after y'all. Your days is numbered. I'm sorry. 702 what? You can challenge whatever you want to challenge. You can say whatever you want to say. I tell you what I know. Let me tell you what I know. You can't fake a gold seal. And that signature wasn't forged. See, that's what I know. That's what I know. I know that to be a fact. I know that to be true. See, that's what I know. Oh, okay, 702. I'm just saying. You see me. I ain't tripping. I ain't even tripping. You could have been challenging me all you want. There it is. I might sing another day. Tonight, I'm about to get some rest. But guys, I gotta go. It's been a gas, and I just wanted to come in and not do a retraction, but do a correction. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Welcome, Penny. Welcome to the channel. Please, guys, you need to make sure that you get your memberships, because the next lives are going to be members only. There's some content that's going to be coming up for members only. There's some content that'll be coming up that will be going public, and this is all regarding Derek. We're getting to it. We're getting it out there, but there's some of the Derek content that is only going to be members only. So you're going to want to get your membership. But all members will have early access to anything that's going out to the public. So if you're a member, you'll be able to see that first. It does get heavy. It gets very heavy. All of this gets extremely heavy. But we're working through it. We're pushing through it. Trying to stay vigilant, and I'm not sure how you check your membership, But I would say go pick one up. And I apologize to anyone who had a membership if your membership was taken away. If I were you, anyone who has a membership that just disappeared, you need to go and you need to holler at YouTube, because YouTube is stealing. If you paid for a membership and you paid for the month and it wasn't gifted to you and you paid for the month and it disappears in less than a month and you have to buy another one, you need to go to YouTube and you need to file a complaint and you need to tell them you want your money refunded because they're stealing from you. You have to dispute it because they get away with too much as it is. So, yeah. And we'll be talking to you guys soon. And don't forget, pray for a survivor, pray for a victim, pray for everyone. Pray for one if you want. Right now, we're asking everybody, please keep the Hadleys in your prayer. Please keep Derek Lee Cordello Smith in your prayers. You know, when a man goes to jail, if he's committed a crime and he does his time, and he's paid his debt to society, then he's paid his debt to society. To continue to keep calling him names, to continue to keep labeling him and mocking him, you know, a lot of these people like to say that they're Christians and say that they follow, you know, Yeshua and all of that, but not if you're sitting online talking crazy. Yes, also say a prayer for Natanya Rubin as well, because just all of the antics with him, I know it's just, it's not the easiest thing in the world for her, not after everything that she's seen him already get away with. Some justice is better than none. So on that note, bye. And we'll see you guys soon.